my scrappy friends. So I have a new layout for you today, and I'm super excited to share this because I absolutely love the way this turned out. So I had another one that I was gonna do, but I decided to show you this one instead today. I'll show you that other one later. It's okay. The other one was a fall one, so I have a month to do it, to show it to you anyway. So I am using what I use for watercolors, which is really just the gel, the Wilton gel food coloring. And I like to use that for watercolor because the color is very, very bright, vibrant, and it stays on. So once it dries, pretty much, it doesn't come off very well. Now, it dries really, really quick. So as you can see, once you kind of get the color on, it might mix a little bit, but it doesn't really flow that well. So if you use it on gesso, it works a little different, but I really like the color. It's very, very bright, and for me, color is important, so I don't mind. So here I'm using some gesso mixed with water, and I just really am doing this for the white color. So if I had white acrylic paint, I would have used it, but I don't. So I watered it down because I really wanted to make it last, and I've been using gesso on a lot of stuff, and I'm gonna have to buy some more soon. So I'm just doing this for a little bit of extra texture and just dimension, and I really want to add to my page, but I wanted to add another layer of watercolor. So here I'm making like a pink purple type of color. It's more pink, but I wanted it to be a little richer than just the pink that I have is like a hot pink color. So I wanted to make it not as hot pink, I guess, even though I did want it pink. So I'm just doing the same thing that I did. Now, because I'm using watercolor, it is bleeding around the stencil. So you can see a little bit of the stencil triangle lines, but it's not perfect. And that's really kind of what I wanted it to do anyway. I didn't think it was gonna. Now, if I had sprayed this with a mist or something, it probably wouldn't have went underneath so much. Or like when I've used this stencil already with the paste, and it works really, really nice. It looks nice that way. But I was really just kind of wanting color and like not like a drippy color. So here I'm looking through some papers because I know I want to back this on a paper. So at first I think that I might use my Scraptastic kit, which I have not yet used. So I'm looking through all my papers, but I'm really looking for darker colors. Like I seen that the Notes and Things has some triangles on it, and I really like this. But here's the thing well, one, I kind of wanted to use it for something else, but also I didn't think it had enough colors. So I'm just looking to see what I have and see, but I really want something that's going to ground all this color, because I know since I'm adding it down, I'm going to cut it down. So now I'm looking through the Life Emporium, and I kind of showed this because I wanted you guys to see that, well, one, a lot of times when I scrap, I don't always have a plan, except for that I really just wanted to use that stencil and use watercolor technique. So yeah, this video is a little bit longer. It's just because of all the processes that I did. So like the actual part of the layout of me putting pieces on really didn't take that long. It was mostly picking papers, doing the watercolor technique, letting stuff dry. I did set it, but you still have to let it sit a little bit too. I find that if you use just the gun, that it kind of warps the paper a little bit more. I don't know, it gets warped anyway, especially when you use watercolor. So I looked through the Maggie Holmes, and I really did like that one. It's like a gray-black checker type of paper, and I liked because you could kind of see triangles. But I really, really liked this Teresa Collins paper from Life Emporium with the wood and the whitewash. I really thought the white went well with the white with the paper. So, and I don't use white cardstock that much. I mean, if you guys watch my pages, I do like color, so it's hard for me to use, which is why I put stuff all over. So one thing I didn't think about when I was cutting this was the fact that I used the stencil in the center-ish area. So I had this huge white border, and when I cut it, I didn't do it like half and half. So here I go, after I inked it, I realized, oh, this looks really horrible. So I go back and I try to fix it, but I didn't want to cut it down too low because I wanted enough of that, the white paper too. So I really end up liking the amount of wood grain that you see to the white cardstock with all the stuff on it. So since I've been using my papers a lot, I've been going through paper like crazy because I've been making a lot of layouts. I decided that I might want to use this paper because I really like it, so I cut the middle out. I don't always do this. Usually a lot of times I don't. A lot of times I am just lazy and I don't cut it out because, and some of it is because I don't always end up using it, so it goes in my scraps and then I forget about it and then I have to go back through my scraps. So I know it's lazy, but I do end up putting another piece of pattern paper underneath it. I don't show this part, but I do that because I thought it felt kind of flimsy because I did cut it out. And that Teresa Collins paper is like super thick and it is very textured. It reminds me a lot of the Cartabella paper. So here I am using Versamark and I am going to heat emboss because I have started learning this new technique and I really just want to play with it because it's a lot of fun. So I show a little bit. I don't show me putting the stamp on every single piece just because that takes a long time and I thought that you might get bored. And so I do the first line. Now I do 3 rows and I showed the first row. So here we go. I just finished stamping out on this last row. So now I'm putting some more powder on, and I do each row and then put powder on just because I don't want it to dry out. It might not because I live here in Hawaii and it's still super humid. So it might have been okay, but I really wanted as crisp of a image as possible. And I use the Hero Arts stamp set that is supposed to go with the basic gray Spice Market, I think. So it's very geometrical, and this one is an arrow, and I thought it would be fun to have a different type of arrow going down. So like I said, I just did 3 rows, and here I'm just heat setting it. And actually I bought this heat gun because I thought it would be hotter. So if any of you guys have a smaller heat gun and you think it works nicer or it gets pretty hot, here I'm just trying to show close-ups of what it looks like because it is clear. I got a gold one too, which I like, sort of. I'm thinking I might have to get a different gold brand just to like compare, because I got the Lindy's Stamp Gang gold and I find that it's spotty. I don't know how to explain it. I'll have to show you it when I use it again. I mean, it's nice. The color is really, really nice. But I find that it's not always doesn't always go in every single, it could be the stamps that I'm stamping with. So we'll just have to see. So here I'm looking through a thing that I bought on impulse because, like all scrapbookers, we like to buy things. And I've been on the Paper Issues Facebook page a lot lately, just trying to draw some different and a newer type of, inspiration. And I really have been enjoying just their conversation. Like, they talk a lot about different things that they are doing and different products they like. So I kind of like it just for that fact. It's definitely not like the Nicole Jones page, Facebook page group, where, everybody really shares everything. And I don't know. I feel like the friendships there are really, really nice. So I don't know, but I do like it for a little bit of a different inspiration. But they've been talking about these swag bags. So I decided that I would purchase a swag bag because they're only $10. And so I went on their page and they still had some. And I will tell you it's the best $10 that I spent. They add a whole bunch. Cassie is the name of the girl who owns the store, I think. And she puts stuff together and there's just like a whole bunch of little goodies. It's a nice, if you're on a budget but you want like a pack of different types of embellishments, this is great because you get a whole bunch of little different stuff, but it's not too much. It's like there's some and you'll see because I'll go back through and look because I go through it. So now that I'm just rambling away and away and away, this is actually my third time trying to do this because the noise of my fan was too loud and so I had to redo it and then it was just funky. So gotta love technology, right? So I am just cutting this first piece. This is Teresa Collins also, and it's also a wood grain with some more like whitewash flowers. So, oh, you missed it. I cut it out. My gun needed new tape. And even though it doesn't take me that long, I cut it out too. And this other paper, this pink paper right there is also Teresa Collins. That's from the Life Emporium collection. And the one with the flowers is painted. And the other one is called Cards because it has cards on it. But I really like the words on the pink one. It says, take a moment to reflect, be ever so thankful. And then there's some other stuff I think too. But that's what I have sticking out. So here is some coriated cardstock. This is Amy Tan. And this is like a tealy color. It's a little bit more green or aqua color, like more like the Chamel papers. Then I'm just writing this down. I've been trying to write everything down that I use. One, so that when I go back and do this, I have an idea of what I used. But also, if I do end up writing on my blog, I can say which I am really, really bad about it. Maybe eventually I'll get better. So here I am on my phone looking for something to listen to. Because I usually watch YouTube videos, which I really do love watching YouTube videos. I love it. Which is why I started doing this in the first place. But I find that when I watch them, when I'm scrapping, I don't always catch everything. And I really do like to watch them. So I decided that maybe today I would just listen to music. So I was listening to music. So here I'm just like figuring out how I want things. Now, and I don't know if you guys noticed at all, because I kind of probably been covering it the whole time. My daughter decided she was going to take my chalk inker, and make a nice little mark on my page. So that is why I picked that corner right there, because I have to hide it. Thankfully, she just did one little spot, and there wasn't as much ink in it, so, oh man. At first I was like, oh, and then I realized it's just a page. I could always redo it, right? So one thing I didn't show you guys is that paper right there. Those flowers are from the Echo Park We Are Family paper from the kit, Scraptastic kit last month. So I have not used that much. And actually I end up using a lot of papers from that collection. That piece overlay right there, I have no idea who it's from. That was also in the swag bag. It just has like a whole bunch of words on it. Like, I don't know. It's really hard to read it because it's just a little piece. But I really liked the look that it gives, just with the white words over top of the coriated cardstock. But so anyway, all over the place, Hannah. One track mind here. Okay. So that Echo Park paper, I decided to fussy cut out the flowers, and I didn't really think that you guys wanted to watch me fussy cut for 10 minutes. So I did cut that out. And I just did a little piece because I really wanted to be able to use those. So here right now, I am going to make a tag with this Heidi Swapp paper. And I really want to use the other side, which is why I drew my lines on the brown, like the crafty side. But you can't really see it that much. I'm really trying to line it up with this Maggie Holmes one because I know that that's a tag shape. But I find when I'm doing this that it looks very wonky to me, which is why I keep checking it, because I'm like, what is wrong? How did I get that wrong? I'm like, I just traced it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I cut it wrong, but it was wonky or it looked wonky. So I put it sideways because I really did want that tag. I wanted a tag. By golly, I was going to have a tag. So, and then I just take the corners and I use those for another little arrow aspect. I really like how that turned out with the tags. And that other tag was from my swag bag too. And it says hello friend. So I think it's from the Fancy Pants collection, the newer one. There's like, they have one that's like a friend type of collection or something that has some of those same colors. So here I am committing. Oh, and I outline it. I forgot I did that. I outlined that tag and I outlined the little arrow things. That's the only thing I outline. Thinking about it, I probably should have outlined some of the other layers, but I don't know. I kind of just like having that just outlined. And I use the gray Chamel pen, so it's not like using a black. So it's a little less dramatic, if you will. But I should probably tell you about this picture before the end of the time, since we're getting closer to the end, but we still have a little ways. So this picture right here is from when I went to my brother's wedding. I flew out to California because that's where he lives with his, well, now it's his wife. And my parents, they live in Texas, so they flew from Texas and we all met. And actually my grandmother from New York, where I grew up, she flew out with my aunt, and so all of us went out to breakfast the day before the wedding because we were going to be going out to get stuff ready at the wedding place where the wedding was. And they had their wedding at like a farm thing that they use for weddings that is out like where the vineyards are. So, and they live out towards the San Francisco Bay Area. So I don't know if that's wine country or not. I don't know. But there's a whole bunch of vineyards out there. So, and like where their wedding was like very vineyardy, and there's a whole bunch of like apple orchards and peach orchards and apricot orchards and like everything. So it was so beautiful, but we knew we were going to be driving out. So we all sat down for breakfast and had a quiet breakfast. Well, as quiet as you can have, having a whole bunch of people and a whole bunch of family members who haven't gotten together in like 3 years together. So, so we all had a really, really nice breakfast together. We all got caught up with each other. It was just so nice. It was so nice to be able to have that and to be able to get, and then we decided, hey, let's get some pictures. So it was really nice to have some pictures, even though we have pictures at the wedding. And even though not everybody is in it because my husband and the kids aren't there, but it was just really nice to have a picture of me and my brother and my parents and, of course, you know, my new sister. So, well, now I have a sister because my husband has 3 sisters, but before I never had a sister. So it's really nice. I've gained a whole bunch of sisters. So here I'm putting everything back, but that was in that little bag. But I used some teal sequins that were in that kit, that swag bag. And I used that ampersand, which I have no idea who that's from. I really like it. It's like a wood grain ampersand. maybe Simple Stories or something like that. So here I'm just gluing it all down. And I like to use either Glossy Accents or Tombow, but I kind of like the Glossy Accents a little bit better, as long as you don't use too much. And I did use Glossy Accents on that ampersand too, which was a little messy. And this, I think, is a Studio Calico clip, but I'm not positive, so don't. I mean, in the swag bags, you don't, unless you know what line it's from. I mean, they're all like current lines, so it's just bits and pieces, which is, I think, why I like it so much, because you don't have to buy a whole collection of stuff, but you get a little bit of tasting. So here is a few stickers from Chickanitty, and this was in the swag bag too. And I'm actually really excited about those, because since we got all that Chickanitty stuff in our new scrapbook thing, a lot of that stuff will go well. So here's a Heidi Swap tag thing from last month's kit that I have left over, because I haven't used that much of that kit. So, which actually I kind of feel bad about, except for I've done a lot of layouts. So, I mean, so here's a question for you guys. Do you guys use your whole kit up all the way before you put it in your stash, or do you, as soon as you get your new kit, you just, you know, do you guys just use it all, or if you guys get a kit club? Because I know lately I haven't been using all my papers, and I've been putting a lot in my stash, but so part of me feels really bad, and then part of me doesn't, because actually I've used a lot more of that boy kit with it in my stash than I did when it was all together. So I'm just curious of what other people do. So of course, you guys seen the Okapi. My husband was like, "Oh, you're filming? Here, let me play around." He's off today, so, you know, he's really hyper. He just thought it would be funny to mess me up. So here I'm using this pink pigment ink on this pad. It's called Brilliance. It's the color of Aurora. I don't know if it's because it's 3 different colors, but it is archival. And actually I was reading the back, and it said that you can emboss with it. So that means that it takes longer to dry up. So I could actually use that for heat embossing, which that made me really happy when I read that. Can you tell I'm enjoying heat embossing? Because I really am. It's just really, really fun. It makes me want to buy even more stamps. So like, so I will probably get stamps next month in my Scraptastic kit, even though I really should be careful so that I can buy Christmas gifts. So if you noticed while I was talking and yammering on and on like I always do, I date stamped that first date upside down. Silly Hannah. So I was trying to find a way to cover it up, because I really could have left it, but I don't know, it just bugged me. It was one of those things that bugs me. Sometimes I don't mind leaving silly mistakes, but that bugged me. So I remembered that in the old Scraptastic kit, we had the October Afternoon block stickers, and they were the perfect fit. So now only me and all the YouTube people, all you YouTubers know that I messed up, but no one else will know. And I actually really like how it looks with the black and the white. It really just grounds a little bit more of everything. So the title is Quiet Family Moments, just because that's what it was. A whole bunch of us sitting around eating. So of course half the time we were quiet, because let me tell you, that breakfast at that place, it's called the Bear Diner or something. Oh my gosh, the rolls were like the size of like my ATG gun. Almost. Not almost. It was like the size of like a mug, though. I mean, it was amazing food. But so here I'm just journaling about how nice it was that we could get together and have some moments together that were quiet, and how nice it was to have a nice picture together, because it really was. And I think that's pretty much about it. So I just want to say thank you guys all for watching and for subscribing if you subscribed, and all the lovely comments you guys make, even though I know I don't always comment right away. I do appreciate everything that you guys comment on about and everything. And I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to all you Canadian subbies. So have a great weekend. Bye.